Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
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 Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yep. That's a Storage
breathing.
Wars one.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yep.
Do my video game podcast where people talk about my butthole for an hour and a half in order to, I'm sorry your friend died. I'm sorry, but my butthole podcast, very important.
We don't always talk about your butthole. Let's be
Not
fair.
always.
We talk about many different things.
Yeah.
Most of which are orifices of yours, I think.
Yeah.
But
Excuse me, I'm still ill from last week. Excuse me.
No.
Still got that weird mystery cough.
Yeah.
It is definitely the consumption.
You mean the thing that ate Europe all those years
Definitely
ago?
the thing that Nicole Kidman got in Moulin Rouge.
Oh, no. Oh, she dies in that?
She does die in that, and I will die after an English man tries to put it up me. And then I fall in love with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I've never seen all of Moulin Rouge, only bits and pieces, so I didn't know that.
It's alright. It's alright.
Seems fine. Yeah, it's got heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of heart. Absolutely.
it's Baz Luhrmann.
Oh, who's Baz Luhrmann?
He's a director that does highly stylized, sort of musically driven motion pictures.
Did he do A Knight's Tale as well?
I don't think so. I don't think that's his.
Well, I'm going to look into that.
No, I think that's more an action milieu.
But they also sing We Will Rock You in that. Conrad.
Yeah, but you can sing We Will Rock You at anything. We Will Rock You is appropriate for all occasions.
It's true, but I'm pretty sure Baz Luhrmann... Sorry, I just wanted to say Baz Luhrmann again. That's really his name?
Yeah.
What a great name. Yeah. Let's talk about video games. This is exciting.
Do you remember when in the 90s, I guess it was, there was that song, Wear Sunscreen, and it's like the graduating class, blah, blah, blah. It's all these things that people should do with their life. It's supposed to be like a commencement speech.
Yeah, it's like a middle-aged sounding man talking to some mildly good music, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's him too. Yeah, everybody's free to wear sunscreen. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm glad that's not a thing anymore. Always makes me feel sad when people want to just follow the advice of a stranger to the letter like that. But then again, I give advice all the time like that at my other job, so yeah.
That advice is pretty vague and open to interpretation in a lot of ways. I mean, it's just sort of platitudes. It's not.
Yeah, people loved those platitudes. It made them feel so smart.
That's what platitudes are for.
Yeah, that's a good point. Where's Jim? I'm sorry, I just realized Jim Sterling's not on the show anymore. What happened to Jim Sterling?
I'm just letting you people talk.
But this is the Jim Sterling show.
Well, it is far too much the Jim Sterling show. They have a lovely conversation. You don't need me interrupting to talk about Uranus. Don't worry, that's coming.
I want the listeners to be happy. They tune in for the Jim Sterling.
They tune in for some rousing chat. And that's what they're getting. They're getting their money's worth.
Well, yes, our conversation about Baz Luhrmann. This is riveting.
I don't even know who that is, so...
Exactly.
I keep quiet. I know who Robert Loescher is.
Lotion?
The old man who looks like Cyril Sneer.
Oh, sounds good already. What's he do?
He's just a man in a film. He is the army in Independence Day.
I'll have to see that again with the aliens.
Yeah, we were watching it last night. We bought a DVD from Fred's, the shitty store, for like $8, and it didn't work halfway through. But I didn't even get to see Will Smith punch an alien in the face. So that's
a good part.
Funny. And he goes, "Welcome to Earth, motherfucker," and then he punches it, and then he says "motherfucker" again.
I don't think so. I think that's PG-13, that movie.
No, he says "motherfucker." He says "motherfucker," and then at the end, he puts his penis out
Puts it
pisses
out.
in the alien spaceship on their computer, and it goes on fire because of all the piss, and then it crashes. And then there is a scene in England and in India and in Africa and Iran, and they all fly up to spaceships and piss on them, and they fall over.
That's how it would have ended if Peter Jackson, circa 1987, made it. Do you remember old Peter Jackson? How he used to be? Those were the days.
I choose to remember only old splatter movie, old bad taste,
Yeah,
brain
bad
dead
taste.
Peter Jackson.
Right, Brain Dead in England and Dead Alive in the United States.
Dead
I
Alive,
believe.
yeah.
Yeah. Those were the days. I watch Bad Taste at least once a year. It doesn't get old. It doesn't get old.
No.
It's a wonderful movie. Oh, and I saw another movie.
Oh,
yeah, you speak.
Oh,
no,
no,
you.
No.
Oh.
Please talk about the movie. It's good. I've got some movie stuff I want to talk about, but go ahead.
I'm gonna give myself 1 minute. I saw this trauma movie called The First Turn On, and they made it a long time ago. It's before even Toxic Avenger. And the guy
I've
who
seen
plays
that in Netflix. That
watch
looks
it.
awful.
It's the worst. You gotta see it. It's kind of, if they made a sequel to The Room, it would be like this, I think, because you know how The Room just makes you feel awful, but then eventually there's enough of a payoff with stuff happening that you just couldn't have seen coming. It takes about 20 minutes before it's just stops being just gross and starts being kind of fun.
Right.
That's how The First Turn On is, and it's also Vincent D'Onofrio's first movie. He plays a character named Lobotomy. That's good.
Wait, what? Vincent D'Onofrio's in it?
It's his first movie. Yeah.
Now I have to see it. Now I have to see it.
I think he drowns. Actually, no, he comes. You have to see it. There's maybe dying. There's really unattractive breasts. A lot of breast close-ups that are just, not the breasts you would want to see on a big screen. It's like, if you were a doctor, all the breasts you'd see at that point. It's like being a doctor watching this movie. And yeah, it coins a lot of great terms. Like
what
Zingo.
You're saying is that it's got a realistic portrayal.
Yes, these are not Hollywood breasts.
They were so poor they had to find real people to be in their film.
And Vincent D'Onofrio.
And
when
Vincent
he's like
D'Onofrio,
19 or something. Yes, watch The First Turn On. Just watch it. And you'll hate it, but just watch the whole thing. Trust me.
I'm going to watch it right after this.
I can't
Your
wait.
taste in films are amazing, Jonathan.
Oh, me?
It's amazing.
Really?
I look up these films you recommend, and they're the kind of films that I should be recommending, but don't, because I don't know them, and yet you do. And yet you act surprised by some of the things I tell, some of the concepts I deliver to you, and you're watching like zombie ass and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I do like movies that are just like your brain, Jim. When I can find a movie that's just like how you talk, I'm pretty happy about it. The First Turn On's not that good. No, well, there's some parts that are pretty good. Yeah, and it beats you down just so when it picks you back up later, it feels all the better for it. So, yeah, check it out.
Cool.
First, yeah. Now, what were you going to say about?
Well, I was saying, I mean,
Jim?
it's a movie thing, but I've been just been kicking around this idea for something you and I could do, Jonathan Holmes.
What?
Now, hear me out.
Really?
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Because I know you've normally got some sort of problem with the ideas I have for us to do, right? And Conrad, you can be in on this as well. I know, I was re-listening to some old Podtoid bits, and you're always complaining about, this goes against the laws of physics. We would be dead or in jail within 24 hours. You don't like the idea of me opening up a Western-style brothel in your apartment. Apparently there's problems with that. You don't think we could go... Well, see, straight away, nitpicking, sniping. I find it very snide. Apparently we can't go to the moon with fish bowls on our heads, because apparently that doesn't work.
I've seen that on television.
Isn't there milk up there? Yeah, they've done it on television. But in real
And
life, Jim
apparently,
Mulroney has to build a raft, and
it can be done on television, but according to Jonathan Holmes, it can't be done in real life. I don't see the logic there.
That's madness.
It's just rampant speculation on your part, Jonathan. What else don't you want us to do? We can't be 18th century grave robbers because apparently, A, it's not the 18th century, and B, we have real lives we can't abandon. So that's weird. You won't let me die and be dead and rot in your backyard to make Pirate Cove. There's a lot of ideas I come up with that you're not 100% on board with.
I like the ideas; they are great in theory.
But you don't. You don't want to, and/or don't think we can do them.
There's a lot of things I want to do. I just don't think that they will work out. No, I think they'll end in tears. Yeah.
Well, hear me out, because I think this. I've thought very carefully about this. I can actually put up the money for it. We can actually do this, right? You and I should own, run, operate our own movie theatre. Our own movie theatre.
Okay.
Okay?
Whoa, there's nothing terrible about this yet. This is great.
You say yeah. There's
Wait
nothing.
for it.
No. I thought because for a long time I've wanted to like own my own like little business outside of what I sort of do my freelancing shit. I thought for a long time about I'd love to own a bar or a restaurant or something. I'd love to own a bar, just a Jim's bar. Come down and drink something, you idiots. You know, that kind of casual. Oh, you pricks, have a wine cooler. You know, that kind of thing. But then I love the movies. Who doesn't? You know, there are films coming out like The Batman that we could make money from. It's a tough business, but I've worked out the logistics. I mean, I know that within the first week you got to give 75% to the movie theater, the movie companies, thanks to Hollywood squeezing us out. But if we measure that against the concessions, we will come out just a little above breaking even. You know, and we'll have the staff so we can keep our other jobs. So it's very low risk, the plan I've laid out, right? I've thought about what we will do, right? I'm really excited about this. You and I, co-owners, okay? Conrad, investor. I'll need some money. About $50. It'll be all right. Don't worry about it. Investor, which also means you're allowed to come round whenever you'd like with a top hat and a cigar and just say, I needs the money. And then we'll give you some money and you can go and do whatever you want. See,
I like where this is going. This is a good plan.
It's a good plan, isn't it? Right? I've worked out how the day will operate. Let's say 11 a.m. You don't need to open a theatre any earlier than that. 11 a.m. Open the doors. People come in. We show kids' movies, mostly the family fun stuff. You know, Brave, Pixar's Brave.
That's a new movie.
That stupid new Tinkerbell one.
There's a new Tinkerbell movie?
There's some. She finds some sister or something fucking stupid.
No.
Yeah. What else was there? Paranorman is a new one that's
I want to see that.
Exciting, isn't it?
I'm excited about that.
I mean, can you imagine if we owned our own theatre? We could watch it ourselves in an empty theatre when everything's closed. It's awesome.
Sure,
I love this. Yeah. So we show all that in the morning, though, for the kids and the families. Once we start hitting afternoon, we bring out the big guns. I'm talking The Amazing Spider-Man. I'm talking The Dark Knight Rises. I'm talking the Avengers. You know,
That's a great one.
All the hard-hitting, big blockbuster AAA stuff. Evenings, I think we should be a little different. It's a little unconventional. Again, hear me out. Okay? We just show movies we'd like to show. Just in, films that we like. Just come and see Aliens back on the big screen. Or Zombie Ass. Whatever you want to show. Just awesome stuff. Are you liking this? Do you think it's cool?
Nothing bad has happened.
I'm really excited about it. And then obviously at 1 p.m, after we've taken a big shit in the popcorn dispenser, then we can move on to bringing up the big blockbuster AAA stuff, as I say. So that's pretty much how the day goes. 11 a.m, kids' movies. Afternoon, the AAA blockbuster stuff, shit in the popcorn, and then show whatever movies we want.
You can't shit in the pop. Wait. You said shit in the popcorn, right?
What?
You did say that?
Ah?
Now,
If
are we hiring someone specifically to shit in the popcorn? Like, is this a position?
Oh, okay. I noticed you've brought up the shitting in the popcorn element of this. That's very good. Because I'm actually pretty excited about this. Basically, what happens is it's a rota system. Okay, so Mondays I'll shit in the popcorn. Tuesday, Conrad shits in the popcorn. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Jonathan Holmes shits in the popcorn. Now, don't worry, we're going to be discreet. What happens is 1 p.m. There's a foot ladder, like a stool, like little steps, I guess. You get up so you can turn around. And you'll be stood over the popcorn dispenser. You turn around, bend over, pull down your pants, and then just defecate into the popcorn. And then obviously the popcorn dispenser is churning the popcorn around, so it'll just go in there and mix all up in it like butter. Now, obviously, the discreetness of the process is paramount. I care. I care about my. I care about my. Hey, you say that, but a red curtain will
Look,
close.
you don't want the secret of your popcorn. I mean, that it's a trade secret. You got to keep that protected.
It's a trade secret. Well, I mean, I say that. Here's how it's going to go down. A red curtain will close over the top of the popcorn dispenser for modesty reasons. Because no one wants to see me or Conrad bending over and taking a shit in the popcorn.
It's true. We don't all have the delicate flower of an anus that Holmes does.
Exactly. That's why Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, when it's Jonathan Holmes' fair turn to shit, the curtain will actually be open, and everyone's invited. Anyone standing around in the lobby is invited to walk up to the concession stand and just form a kind of semicircle, and then just clap while you shit, just like in a rhythm, like that, right? They might be invited to throw things or just shout, Jonathan Holmes, take a shit, take a dirty shit, right? Any movies that are showing at that time are interrupted because we'll have a camera set up, so anyone watching films while the popcorn shitting goes on, they get to see you on the big screen.
Well, they don't want to miss that.
No!
I mean, they'd be devastated.
Absolutely. There's going to be multiple cameras. One, proper close-up. In high def. 3D, for those that are watching on the 3D screen, so they can get, real deep look as your anus dilates and the shit comes out at them. Comes out at them. It's like when they throw the axe in that Resident Evil film. It's going to be really scary, but they'll laugh. It's scary, but they'll have a laugh. And then, they will get...
It's true? It's funny because it's true?
Yeah. Everyone's going to want the Jonathan Holmes cinema. Jonathan Holmes approved brown butter popcorn. Rich, smooth, creamy, just the way Mother used to make it.
Gross. Eating poops is gross. And okay, so hepatitis B spreads through poops, Just any old poop can get you some. So you don't... We'll be killing people with our poop
hepatitis
corn immediately. 2, in 5th grade, I went on a trip with my whole elementary school to Cape Cod. We showed up on a Thursday night, left on a Sunday. I did not poop the entire time because I'm not a public pooper. I don't poop in the public poop toilets. Poop in my own toilet. I'll let the cat in. Cat likes to come in while I'm going number 2 for some reason.
We'll just have to design the booth to be an exact recreation of Holmes's bathroom, so he feels comfortable.
Yeah, but
and then drug him and put him in there.
People, if there's a crowd, what would you want them to do, Jim? Clap and go? Ooh,
I would like them to. Well, I mean, they don't. It's more of a... sorry, this cough's fucking killing me. It would be more of an encouragement, like they're just chanting so that you can get into the rhythm of it. Like how the orcs in...
The rhythm?
Yeah, like how the orcs at the Battle of Helm's Deep are like smashing their axes into the ground to get them all riled up. It's like, clap, 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 we're gonna see a shit.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jim. I really like this idea. I think it's excellent. The one concern that I do have is your idea of doing the late night, running anything that we want. I mean, there could be a lot of rights issues that could come up. We'd have to clear everything in advance. It could be very, very complex to sort that.
Right.
Otherwise, though, everything else in here, I love it.
I tell you what, Conrad, how would you feel about this, okay? Because I actually, the MPAA are a bunch of venomous serpents. Instead of the run everything, we record home shitting and then do compilations every night of different shits that Jonathan Holmes has had, and we called it Shitty Evenings In with Jonathan Holmes.
Now there you go. Now that's thinking on your feet.
Damn right.
I like that.
Come to Holmes Brand Cinema for the shittiest night of your life. How do you like that? Jonathan, do you think...
crowds...
Now, Jonathan, I know you've got a problem. You had like issues with the rights and licenses for the showing anything you want, so has that cleared up your question?
Do you know what kind of people... Is that the
voice you'll make when you do a shit or not? Because I would like that. I would like to have it in 7.1 surround sound of you just going...
I try to just forget it's happening. I lower my bum as close as I can to the water so there's not too many plops, and I don't grunt or groan. And I don't, then you have to eat good to make sure you don't have like yucky gray poops and stuff like that. And we're going to look at them, and then maybe you'll get mud butt after, and then you have to wipe your butt for a long time for that. No. And do you know what kind of people come to those shite shows?
We know exactly the kind of people that come to that, yes.
You wouldn't worry.
Hang out with
you
those
wouldn't
guys.
have to worry about wiping your butt, Jonathan. You'll be using nachos. Wipe your butt with nachos, then we save money on the cheese. We just give them. People are gonna come round 1 p.m. People will leave the movie because it's 1 p.m. I need to go get some pop chungus. That's what we're gonna call it.
Is that what
we're gonna call it
chungus mean poops?
We're gonna go in the context of this discussion. It does. I'm gonna go get some pop chungus. It's Thursday. It's a Holmes day. His poos are better. That's what they're gonna come for.
Why do you guys get the curtain and I just have to show it all?
Nobody wants to see a man have a shit. Don't be disgusting, Jonathan. They want to see you have a shit. They don't want to see me.
But I'm a man.
Gross. You are more than a man, sir.
I am only a man. I'm not much of a man, some would say. I don't know. You've seen me. I'm barely keeping it together. I'm falling apart. The seams. I don't even know what my butt looks like. I haven't looked at it in years.
No one wants to see
Maybe it's still good.
Having a shit. That would be gross. That would be dirty. They do want to see you have a shit. They want to clap. They want to see it in 3D, and they want to hear you grunting in surround sound.
Well, it's not the worst idea you've had. I will say that.
It was pretty well thought.
There are worse. It's very well detailed. The ideas are always well crafted, but the concept behind them is usually that one would just. I mean, we would just.
Okay. Well,
no one would.
I know you've
come and we.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Now, I was worried you'd shoot this down. Okay. I came prepared with 2 ideas this week.
Oh, no.
What?
Oh, we're gonna have time this week. Yes.
Right. This is like a movie special this week. As you know, The Amazing Spider-Man released last week, I think, or the week before. Right?
Yeah, last Friday, I think.
Yeah,
not
and I saw all the hype. I saw all the hype. And I thought to myself, why isn't Jonathan Holmes Spider-Man?
There's a lot of reasons. Wow.
There's only one reason. You haven't been bitten by the right spider. Okay?
That's true.
How did Spider-Man turn into Spider-Man? He got bitten by the right spider.
The radioactive spider, yeah.
The radioactive spider, right? There's a lot of radiation in the world.
Now,
True.
am I to understand then that you're suggesting we have Holmes be bitten by every spider we can find?
That is absolutely... we got a mind melt thing going on because that's exactly what I'm suggesting. Like Noah's Ark, we get 2 of every spider, right? I've already started the collection. I'll drive them down to Boston, and Conrad and I will reach into the box and just throw them at you. Right? You'll be sat on a stool naked. Completely, totally bollock naked, right? While Conrad and I take turns to just grab a handful of spiders and just chuck them at you, right? And then hopefully, they'll start biting. Law of averages says one of them's going to be radioactive, and then you will be the Spider-Man.
No, it doesn't.
Right? How much radiation is there in the world? About 1 million. How many spiders are there? About 1 million. Laws of averages says 1 million radioactive spiders are going to bite you. That's just simple math. That's not even me saying it. So you'll be naked on a stool, and what I hope will be a very cold garage. We're throwing things at you to really get into the spirit of things. Because what else did Spider-Man have that you don't currently have?
Hair, a nice body,
Nope.
science background.
No, you've got all that. Definitely the science background.
Dead uncle.
No.
I do have a uncle, but he didn't raise me.
There you go. See, the similarities are already there. You're only missing one other vital ingredient.
Costume.
No.
Guilt. He's got guilt issues.
Right? The one thing...
I should know this.
The one thing Parker has that you don't is J. Jonah Jameson. Which is why, as we're throwing the spiders, we're also shouting, "God damn it, Peter Parker! Get me that no-good wall-crawling motherfucking piss-drinking fucking shit-eating Spider-Man! Get me photographs of it, Parker! Get me the fucking Spider-Man, you motherfucker!" And we're just throwing spiders. We're right like an inch away from your face. Just, "You no-good piece of shit! Get me the Spider-Man!" And then we're throwing hot coffee in your face. We're just stubbing out cigars on your legs, and we're just splashing hot coffee in your face and whooping spiders in your eyes. Just get your no-good wall crawler, a fucking web slinger, the motherfucking asshole. Wow. The 2.5 hours of that, you're ready for us to put a pillowcase on your head and send you out onto the streets of Boston to stop crimes.
Oh, not snuff out my life with a pillow, but put a pillowcase on my head, and I'm still naked, covered in spider bites, hot coffee, and cigarette burns. Yeah. Covered in welts and burns and.
To put a Spider-Man costume and nothing else, because you need the flexibility. Hopefully by that time you'll be pulling up walls and throwing webs around. And you'll be stopping crime, essentially. We'll hang around in dark alleyways. We'll go to nasty nightclubs, and you just start shit with people. Just push.
Is that what Spider-Man does? Yeah. Spider-Man just shows up and is like, "What's your problem? Yeah. Shut up."
That's exactly.
I don't even like you.
That's exactly what we want you to
do. The mashed potatoes. And...
we have to consider there could be some effects from some of the other various sorts of spider venom coursing through your system. We don't know exactly how close, but we expect a full personality shift to Spider-Man.
Exactly.
He did go through a lot of changes when he became Spider-Man.
I mean, essentially,
he beat up the bullies.
Essentially, I'd like you to go to rough bars or just motorcycle clubs. Find the biggest, tallest, burliest guy there and just scream in his face. possibly throw some homophobic rhetoric at him while you're just screaming and shoving him. And then, I mean, you know, again, laws of probability says he's probably hit a woman at some point if it's a bike club. So he'll be a criminal you're taking down, because with your great power will come a great responsibility that I have told
How am I
you
taking him down? I'm just a nude yelling man in a bar. And
wearing a pillowcase.
Am I trying to instigate a fight, or is that my crime fighting? Just screaming at strangers.
I think it depends how potent the spider power is that you've now got. If it is just you pushing, and I imagine going half blind and vomiting, then that's obviously the extent of your crime fighting. That's as far as it's going to go.
That's probably all. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be capable of more than that, and I don't. As much as you'd think.
Well, Jim has a good reason for doing this. You see, you want to put yourself into a position of absolute danger where, you know, by reflex, your powers will come to, you know, your aid, and you'll learn how to use them.
Exactly.
Every hero has that moment.
Yeah, this will be, you know, like when Peter Parker in the original films like punches that bully and he goes flying. That's what we want. We can't just assume that you've got superpowers just because we threw some spiders at you and burnt you a bit. You know, we need to test them in the field. It would be irresponsible and reckless to just throw you out there without testing your powers. That's why we're going to take you to a motorcycle club, probably, you know, the Sons of Silence or whatever's still knocking around in the Midwest. And then just get you into fights with bikers, because I think that's the only way to really test it, rather than be irresponsible and dangerous.
I don't think they'll even fight me. I think that as long as I don't lay a hand on them, they won't. They won't even want to touch me. I mean, I will look so diseased and disgusting that they wouldn't even want to risk getting like any sweat or skin from me onto their knuckles, let alone, you know, I try to bite them or something. No. When a nude man with a pillowcase covered in different colored skin and lumps and it starts screaming at you, you leave immediately. You don't start a fight with them. I don't know. But then again, I'm not an expert on these things, so could be wrong.
You have to factor in the fact that I will be making Streets of Rage music happen, which will obviously inspire the gangs into they'll achieve a warlike, almost berserker state. Because as you're shouting and screaming and pushing, I'll be behind you going like that, just over and over, and then obviously they'll hear that and go, fuck, Streets of Rage, and then they'll make a swing at you, where I'm hoping your spider sense will tingle, you'll jump over them and web shoot them into a wall, yes sir, and then we'll fight the Green Goblins.
The poop idea wasn't as bad as that.
I thought this was the more reasonable one.
No, it's even worse than that. Because at least the poop idea just it's easier for you. You don't have to start a business. You just need to get 2 of every spider, which by your standards probably just means a bunch of spiders you find at the park. That's all of them, and then and that's my life. Yeah. No. I'd rather if I had to choose, at least the poop one will just end in financial ruin and maybe a short jail stay. The Spider-Man one could lead to the end of my life. Yeah.
Well, how do you
depending on the biohazard level, that could not be a short prison
the
stay.
Birds alone. Yeah, well, that's true.
Resident Evil is a good game, and that is called Biohazard, so
true.
so my idea's not so bad, is it? Oh god, that was the first video game reference I think we had since we started recording.
I know. I feel bad for the listeners who wanted all that video game talk we normally do.
That's what they tune in for. I often get people sending me threats. They're just like, I'm going to fucking cut your fat and bleed it out of your fat stomach if you don't talk about more video games, you fat.
Do you really? Because most of the people who have stuck around with the show seem to revel in the fact that we don't.
I'm being absolutely facetious.
Oh, okay. I don't know anymore. And you can't really go by the cross-section of just the people that comment, so who knows what people listen to this. Yeah. So,
I mean, there are some people...
Do you guys want to talk about it?
Huh?
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah, you. What were you saying?
I was just saying, there are people that have been listening since I took over as host that hate it, and they still listen every week. And just every few months they'll tune in and say, I missed it when Anthony was hosting it. Okay, I'll fix that immediately. I'll concoct some plan to get him fired from Gearbox, and there you go. So, but that's in the minority. Most people listen and they love what we talk about.
I'd assume.
Let's talk about video games.
That people don't. Let's do it. What are you interested in, video game wise? What's on your mind, Jim?
A couple of big Kickstarter things happened today. If you want to talk about that. Yeah.
Sure. What are they? Android console?
Oh, yeah, I have to talk about stuff now. Yeah, there was this Android console that everyone's excited about. I half looked at it and then got bored. What is it?
Why are they excited about it?
This is the open source Android console, like Ouya, I think it's called. I think I saw something about it mentioned a couple of days ago that this was a thing that people were working on, and then a Kickstarter popped up and was immediately funded.
Yeah, people got excited for it.
Yeah. How much? 75?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't looked at
100 million.
100 million?
100 million, billion, trillion, thousand.
No, I want to say I saw it was I want to say I saw it was like $950,000 they'd hit at some point, but I need to find a Kickstarter to be sure.
Okay, whatever it is, yeah, it's probably changed by the time people hear. But it was a lot last time I saw it, and it had only been up for a brief time. Why do people want an Android console so bad? Are there a lot of Android games that aren't on PC, or what's going on?
That's the thing I can't figure out. I don't understand what the purpose is of having that device. It sounds to me like it's just a hobbyist machine. You know, it's something you can't. Are you developing for outside the platform? I don't think so. Everything has to be open source, if I'm, recalling correctly, based on what I'd read about it. Like, there's some limitations there that are interesting. All the games are going to be free, so it's not a commercial project venue for people. I don't get it.
I'm going to guess a big part of it was the open source allure. I think you tell them it's open source, anyone can hack it, anyone can play with it, and I think that inspires people to want to support it, because then they get to feel like not hypocrites when they get angry that Battlefield 3 has been successful or whatever, I think that's a big part of it. I think people, they want to see this free and open console, even if it is Android-based.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Kickstarter now, and based on it will be open source. Anybody will be able to use it. I don't see anything about. It says all the games on it will be free at least to try, so there will be some sort of demo function built into it. They, as of right now, have raised $1.3 million. Their goal was $950,000.
Wow.
And, yeah, I mean. I want to think that this will be valuable, but I can't see it competing in the mainstream. It really just seems like it's sort of a hobbyist toy machine, something that geeky people have to say they have and play with, and it's important, I think, for that community to have these objects. The open source development community needs to have sort of devices that they can push their wares to and get more people interested in them and keep their own sort of community going. But in terms for me as a games player, I'm not that interested.
So it doesn't play any just standard issue Android games. It only plays games specifically made with this open source. I don't.
I know they
understand
were
the
promising
code.
Cannabolt on it.
Yeah.
Cannabolt's on Android, yeah. All right. Well, there's Android games I want to play on a big screen, so I'll probably get one if the console's cheap enough. What's it going to be? $100 or something?
Yeah, $99.
You see, I'd get it for the gimmick value, but I don't know if I'd keep playing it.
Yeah, the price is right. Like, I'll blow $100 on, whatever. That's fine. So I would.
I always
get
wanted.
So cheap.
Yeah. I always wanted Microsoft to make a console without a disk drive that just plays Xbox Live games, because that's pretty much the only games I really enjoy on the Xbox. There's a console that, this is before they made the Slim. Back when I desperately wanted an Xbox, I wasn't afraid it was going to melt. I was like, I wish they just made one that was like a plug-and-play just for Xbox Live, and maybe they'll still end up being like that.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, actually.
Yeah, just make it real cheap and put it out there to support
like a Roku box. It's just like their own version of Roku box. Run Windows 8 mobile on it or whatever, and give people an Xbox Live interface and let them play their games. Yeah, I think that would be a great idea.
My only problem with
neat. Thanks, Conrad.
My only problem with a console that plays mobile games on the TV is I play so few games on the TV now. I'm either playing on my PC, which is right here next to my work, so I can dip in and out as I please, or I'm playing stuff on an actual mobile device where I can go anywhere I want and I don't have to pull the armchair in front of the TV and fuck around and do incredibly non-demanding things that I will still take as some gross, unreasonable chore because I'm incredibly entitled and lazy. It's a convenience thing, and I found PC and mobile gaming so convenient now that I don't put my console on very often. That's my only problem with this. It's like if I want to play Cannabolt, I'm going to play Cannabolt on my iPad where I can just lie back on the couch or sit on the toilet, where I can also have a Safari browser open to look at Sasha Grey getting one upper or something.
Oh, upper what?
You know what?
Vagina and anus now.
Oh no, the 3 love holes?
Yes.
Just one.
The Holy Trinity. What?
Yeah, I want to get I want to see you get them up your 3 love holes, Jonathan.
I don't have 3 holes. I mean, if you count my nostrils.
Not yet.
I read this Kickstarter. Like, it's really well written. It's very compelling, but it's gotta be marketed to mainstream eventually in order for it to really be successful, I think. And I think it's cool and I want one, but I don't have any expectations for it really changing the game.
No. I hope they don't think that they're going to do that, and hopefully they won't have to.
People don't think that it's going to do that. That's the thing.
Yeah, I see. It's going to be.
Right.
I have a feeling it's going to be held up as this champion, as this big fuck you to the world of major game publishing. And when I look at it, I think it's a cute little thing. I will get one. It looks neat. But I don't, even with their claims of it being open source, I mean, it's still Android. And even then, I mean, out of the different platforms you can have, Android's such a Wild West kind of thing that, I don't know. I mean, I don't think of Android when I think about gaming at all. I like Android as a platform. I have an Android phone. I will probably stick with Android as my phone of choice. But if I'm going to do mobile gaming, I'm going to go iOS. I see it as nothing more than just an interesting little thing. Definitely interesting, but not, as Conrad says, not a game changer in any way.
Not a game changer. No, they should call it the hipster. It's like intentionally not normal, but it's not gonna ever get any mainstream success because it is anti-mainstream by definition, so you can't really expect that to ever win. And
I just don't think it's going to change
the
the status quo in any way, is what I'm saying.
No, heck no. It's too weird. Well, what are the controllers like? Does it have like a real controller?
It looks like an Xbox 360 controller. It looks like
that sounds good.
Standard sort of thing. I mean, it's.
I'm kind of excited now. If it has the 2-player, well, that's
got these raised buttons.
It's probably pretty cheap.
Flat thing. Yeah. No,
I don't like raised buttons. They hurt my thumb. If it has the 2-player Cannonball, and if it has a lot of 2-player games, that's a justification for playing it on your TV in your living room. And there is a 2-player Cannonball, which was only for the Winitron.
I think it's gonna stay there.
Yeah, the Winitron. Oh, that's too bad. Because if you're gonna play Cannonball on your couch, you might as well be doing it with somebody else.
That's one of the things about the Winitron. Everything on there is supposed to be exclusive to the Winitron.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want to be able to play it, build a Winitron in your city.
Yeah, that is a nice idea. Do you know about the Winitron there, Jim? It's an arcade console. It's our arcade machine that you can build and then just fill it with particular games that are sanctioned by a little group.
There's a whole list of indie games that have their own special versions that are designed for this indie arcade machine that you can build and install in places, and various cities around the world have them. And I think there's something
there's a Super Crate box too, right?
Yeah, there's a Super Crate box versus. There's a Cannonball 2-player. There's a whole bunch of them. Really cool games, and the kind of stuff where it's like, God, I'd love to play that, because all of them are really cool 2-player interpretations of really cool games themselves, and. And so it just makes me want to go, find that last guy who runs an arcade, in every city, everywhere, and say, build one of these fucking things. You've got the parts. They're just lying around.
I keep meaning to build a Destructoid one, but I never do. Maybe someday. I know some guys who could help me. Maybe it'll happen. So that's a thing we talked about in video games. Great job.
Video games.
Did well, guys. We did it now. God.
Sir Toby sent me another sex doll box.
Oh, fantastic.
Toby, who does all our... Yeah, I don't, we'll see how you guys like it. I'm not sure it's good, to be honest. I like it, and I like Toby, so I'll read it for you guys.
To bring Conrad up to speed, and listeners who may be just joining us, every now and then we like to find sex toy advertisements or boxes and read the spiel on the back, which Jonathan Holmes does very well, because we'll read it in a very dry, very frank way. And
Maybe I will.
I think that's the best way to deliver the message and let people know what they're buying, is to just say it in not the cheeky ruffling of the hair way that they assume we're going to read it in. But yeah, please, I'm looking forward to this.
It might be good. It's part of the Superstar series. There's a little star on there. It says in cursive, Superstar series. It's called Oh Bang Me Baby, Britney Bitch, Love Doll.
Oh, God.
3 toxic love holes. I know what kind of love holes you like. You want the kind that hurt your penis when you put your penis into the hole, because it's toxic, so... They got 3 of them. They got 3 toxic love holes because it's Britney Spears. Britney Spears has a little, it's got a little bedazzled hat on, and it says, "Oops, she did it again." I don't know what and on the box there's all these weird pictures of just like the bottom of her butt and like maybe her bending over, and it says "Oops" on top of them, and there's these really gross paparazzi, and she's aged. Britney Spears is in her late 40s all of a sudden. And has had a lot of plastic surgery done. Oh, her vagina's there. So you can see that on the box. Excellent. It says "oops" over it, though, so you can't really say it. And the full description is, she's Britney Bitch, the pig-tailed pop princess who's got a body that won't quit and a brain that won't start.
Oh, my God, really?
Classy.
Yeah. Just add air, and this washed-up white trash whack job will suck the chrome off a trailer hitch quicker than you can say food stamps. She's not shuffling her muffin with man meat. This busty blow-up bimbo is busy giving fans more beaver shots than an Oregon wildlife calendar. She's got 3 toxic love holes that are begging for your pleasure rod, so what are you waiting for? Bang this baby one more time. It hurts to read it.
Oh my...
That is spectacular.
That is... I'm offended. I'm actually offended. That is amazing. Holy shit.
Not stuffing her muffin with man meat. Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it goes beyond, like... I mean, it doesn't even make her sound attractive. It's just...
It's mean-spirited.
Please fuck this woman who we are telling you is pathetic and disgraceful and worthy of...
And shouldn't you be ashamed of yourself for wanting...
Yeah.
For, to debase this person that they clearly see no value in whatsoever. Like,
I mean, I've just got this image of, some guy like, oh, God, I'm going to have sex with a doll. Who do I like? Oh, I like that fucking Britney Spears. I'm going to look up a doll. I bet she has toxic fucking love holes. Oh, yeah. I'm going to, God, I'm going to check out this fucking bitch. Well, now I just feel bad. Oh, that's no way to... I mean, she had some measure of success. Oh.
Southern accent.
I'm going to start respecting women from now on. That's what I imagine goes through the mind of someone
maybe this is it.
Maybe that's the plan. It's to just, like, make the horny purveyors of love dolls just think... What am I doing?
Think for a second about what they're doing,
Yeah,
This could be the way.
Maybe I'm using these dolls, I want this inanimate, featureless woman lacking in personality because I'm afraid of independent women who think for themselves. Maybe that's the kind of thought they're trying to get through your head when they're just degrading this woman. I mean, it's one thing. It's one thing to do the, she's a nasty slut. It's kind of... It's
tasteless,
It's tasteless, but you get the point. And they usually at least try and let you think the women are complicit in that and that they enjoy the dirty talk, It's a common thing to have that kind of dirty talk going on. But that goes beyond that, and he's just insulting her. And her career, like, that's got nothing to do with the sex element. This woman has no career anymore. That's not sexy. She's on food
they thought
stamps.
You would be turned on. Right, you'd be turned on by the idea that she'll suck the chrome off a trailer hitch quicker than it's turned on by thinking about someone sucking on a trailer.
It's the food stamps bit. Like, I honestly promise our readers... The thought of a woman collecting welfare does not give me a stiff penis. That's not nice.
It's not
okay, all right. Now, the person... Okay, oh God, I just had a really awful thought because I just had the realization of why this is attractive to some people. And it's because she was so...
Help me understand.
She was so spectacularly popular, and now she is such a failure. And these people who were always failures... now get to say, oh, you're on my level, she's attainable to them, and this is reinforcing that perspective in their minds. That's what this is saying. Which is so incredibly sad. Sad.
Yeah. I guess that's the thinking when you're in the boardroom, like, guys, we got this Britney sex doll. Well, does it look like Britney? No, of course not.
Okay, now I'm imagining the people sitting around that table, like, as wearing suits and, like, being dignified, and that's not it.
They look like the corporate board of directors from RoboCop.
Right, yeah.
And they've got to sell this doll. Like, oh, wow. Yeah, good one. I feel bad about
that's
reading
really,
this one
honestly,
now.
That's... I feel... that makes me feel, unclean inside myself.
I hope it something else now?
Yeah.
But I...
yeah.
I genuinely feel gross.
Okay. I mean, I'm sorry, listeners, that Jonathan Holmes wrote that.
Yeah, really. My God, Holmes.
No, I
And then read it aloud like that.
Yeah, like he was proud of it, like it was poetry.
I did write
Like
it.
he was Simon fucking Armitage. No, Jonathan Holmes did not write it. That's an actual product that they apparently sell to
by
the worst
Dream, I
people.
The
Toxic love holes. Toxic love holes. They could have had Lucky Love Holes. That was one of her songs. They're not thinking about it the way I'm thinking about it. The only thing toxic...
They don't even say "hit me, baby, one more time," do they? Oh, they did. Bang
they
this
said,
baby one more time.
Bang this baby. And that just makes me think they're actually asking me to bang a baby. You don't say bang
just hit
this
a baby
one more time.
Yeah, this specific baby needs to be smashed with a club hammer. Yeah, it's pretty mean-spirited stuff by Pipe Dream. I wonder if does that mean penis fantasy? Pipe Dream? Is that like a euphemism?
I think that's a euphemism.
That might be the subtle wordplay they were going for.
Genius. So let's talk about wholesome things like Adventure Time. Do you like that, Conrad? Do you like that show?
I've only seen it once or twice. It wasn't really my thing. I did watch Disney's got some new show, Gravity Falls, I think it's called. And it's like a Twin Peaksy sort of like, crazy monster stuff. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Puzzle Agent stuff. Not quite that dark, but it's a little bit dark.
That's Graham Arnsible, is that his name? Graham Arnsible?
Something like that.
Something like that. He's a good guy. Yeah, I like his stuff.
Yeah, it was interesting. I watched the first episode, and it's these kids are staying at their uncle's house that he's turned into a tourist trap to show off weird crap that isn't really that weird, and they discover a book that some guy was keeping a journal of strange things and occurrences in and around the town, and like Kristen Shaw's in it, and
really, she's funny.
Yeah, it is. It's very funny. It's cute. There's a humor level that is, a little more mature while also, appealing to a kid demographic, I think. So there's a range there. It was a really enjoyable little program.
I'll check it out.
You should.
Gravity Falls. Neat. The reason I brought up Adventure Time is I got the new Nintendo Power with the full spread on the Adventure Time game for the DS and the 3DS, and it's going to be... This is how I think people felt about Skyrim before it came out. You know how they were really excited about it? And I was like, what are you excited about? They're like, I'm going to be in the place, and I'm going to do the stuff you do there. I'm like, what stuff do you do there? You kill a dragon, and you go to the beach, and then you find flowers and you get a job, and I'm like, that doesn't sound fun. I'm yet to under. When people try to explain Skyrim to me, they always make it sound less fun than it actually is. This is how I am about Adventure Time. I saw, like, what do you do in the game? You go to the treehouse and there's some monsters that look like they're signposts and you punch them, and there's nothing. Shouldn't be fun, but it looks so great. It's by Way Forward, who I love anyway. And it seems to capture the show perfectly. The creator of the show is writing the script and overseeing a lot of the production on it. And they're nailing it. The screenshots look great, too. The graphics just look perfect. Like kind of like a Sega Saturn 2D game, like Astal or something, except more pixelated. Looks really good if you like that sort of thing, guys. Just thought I'd let you know. Adventure Time game, yeah.
3 toxic holes, though.
If she had 2 toxic holes and 1 lucky hole, then you'd at least have a choice between your holes. Maybe you want to have a poison penis. You get a bad disease that night. So you'd pick one of the toxic holes. Or if you're like, yeah, maybe I'm going to get her pregnant tonight, then lucky hole. But no, 3 toxic love holes, Jim, yeah.
Unbelievable. I'm excited for the Adventure Time game, though. I like Way Forward a lot. I like Way Forward a lot. I'm eager to check it out. I like Adventure Time a lot. Very much. Very much enjoy it. Yeah. I enjoy both Adventure Time and regular show for 2 very different reasons. I know some people try and start a war between the 2, but I think they're both excellent.
Do. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I like them both too. I prefer Adventure Time because it just kind of suits my personality better. But
and
in
I'm
terms of
actually the other
quality, I'd say
way,
they're the same.
Yeah, like I give the edge to a regular show. Well, they're both, but I think that says everything about us two. I think you are very much the Adventure Time to my regular show.
Yeah, and they're friends. The shows are friends.
Yeah,
so we can be friends too.
and they complement each other, and they run back to back. And I would like us to be back to back, like naked, with our asses pressed against each other, and then we both just shit at the same time, and just mash it together, and it goes up our backs, and we can feel the warmth and the shame.
Sounds awful.
And then we can invite people to enjoy our toxic holes.
Well, they would be if they're spewing out
covered in poo.
Waste.
Yeah, although obviously you'd have to save.
Level.
You'd have to save half of it for the popcorn.
I was gonna say that the Adventure Time game. One thing I like about it is it seems a little bit like A Boy and His Blob, which I didn't expect. You've got Jake on your back the whole time. Jake is the shape-changing dog who's like technically incredibly powerful. He's sort of like Green Lantern, except instead of creating things out of his ring, he just makes it out of his body. He can just make missiles out of his body and stuff like that. He can grow and shrink and stuff like that. So technically, you should be overpowered in the game because he can do anything, but he's dumb and he forgot that he can do stuff. So throughout the game, you find songs that you play, and when you play him the song, he's like, "Oh yeah, I can turn into a giant shoe," and then the sock monster goes inside of him and solves a puzzle and stuff like that. So it's going to be like...
That's perfectly Deus Ex Machina-ish enough to work with the show.
Yeah. If the show were more serious, that would seem like a stretch, but they would also do an episode of the show where he just forgot he was all-powerful, and you'd have to remind him. So, yeah, it's structured like Zelda 2, where you get power-ups for Jake and power-ups for Finn and explore a overworld, but then when you go into dungeons and areas and stuff like that, it's side view, platforming, combat. Looks good, man.
Looking forward to it.
I did my rundown. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm looking for it's going to be good. Hopefully better than that fucking one they put out on iOS. It was... They tried to do an adventure game. It's got to be fully voiced. Like, you don't give me Lumpy Space Princess and then just deliver her dialogue through text. That's not how this game is played. They better not.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do this for the DS one. I doubt it, honestly. I don't think it's that big of... I don't know how much money they have for it. I don't get the sense it's a lot. It's D3, not the biggest publisher in the world, and I think they're hoping that the fact that they have the creator and everyone at Way Forward has encyclopedic knowledge of the show. They all love it, so I think they're hoping the passion for the content will bypass the fact that they don't have a ton of money to work with, but at least they could do little sound samples of like, oh my god, and stuff like that. That'd be good.
I need to do something.
Yes.
I'm playing a 3DS game.
You are?
Yeah, I'm playing Heroes of Ruin.
I knew it. Oh no.
But what?
How's it going?
What's the oh no?
How's that going?
It's alright.
You like it?
It's alright. There's no embargo on this. I can talk about it. I think because it's already out in Europe or no, Japan. It's already out. Anyway, there's no embargo. Yeah, I can say what I like. It's it's okay. It's pretty good. It's it's a little Diablo style dungeon crawler. Pretty simple so far, but it's neat. There are a few problems with it. The animation in particular, like it takes so long to transition that you're supposed to be able to block and dodge and all this shit, but I've given up doing that because the transition from attacking to blocking and dodging is so slow that it doesn't work. And there's a few problems with stuff like that, like trying to use your special abilities as well as your regular attacks. The transitions too sluggish. And the enemies block, and you do a charge attack to break the block, but as soon as you charge up, they stop blocking anyway, and then just hit you. There's some weird stuff, but it's it's cool. You know, it's got that whole must get loot, must kill stuff quality that gives it at least the base compulsion that's very hard to get wrong. I'm not finding it time-consumingly addictive. It's not grabbed me by the balls to the point where I can't stop playing it yet. Like I'm not immensely far into it. I just beat the first proper big-scale boss, so I'm hoping it opens up after that. I do like some of the stuff. They're really pushing the online. The drop-in, drop-out co-op. There are daily web challenges that come up. All this kind of interest, like a trading network. They're trying to really push that. I don't know whether it's going to get the community to sustain it. But here's hoping.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, there are a lot more 3DS games pushing all kinds of online components. So, I hope that works out. I hope that at least gives people the idea who both are playing the games and making the games that they should prioritize putting online components in there, because if not, if they can get by without it, they'll never even bother. So that's it's worth a hope. I played a little bit of the demo. You know me. I was like, it's just like a video game called video game. It's just like, you're doing this stuff. There's the classes. You've got to kill the thing. And I was like, I didn't get too excited about it, but
it's not your
I'll give
game,
it a chance,
really.
Jim. Nah, it's hard for me to get excited about that kind of stuff. Because I'm a bummer.
What are you playing, Conrad? Anything of interesting note?
I just got Dyad.
Ah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, those codes. Yeah, do we all have codes? Do I have a code too?
Yeah, you've got one too. And
I should go download it then.
Yeah, you should just turn it on and start your download now and go to bed and go to work tomorrow and maybe it'll be done downloading by then. I swear to freaking God.
Oh, PlayStation.
I have pretty good internet service here, and I don't skimp on that because that is an important part of my life. So when I go to download a game, I expect it to not take 348 minutes.
Fuck me.
I mean,
Sony.
I got the code at 11:30 at night. I was like, oh, awesome! I can play this a little bit before bed. And I start downloading it, and I look at it, and I was like, nah, that can't be right. That time will decrease. And I went and watched something on, Netflix, another episode of Buffy. And I come back, and no, it's still gonna be 6 more hours. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. It's just absurd.
The infrastructure in the PS3 infuriates me freshly every time I deal with it. It's an amazing piece of work. It shouldn't be where I'm taking 10 times longer to just put a patch on a game than it takes me to update the 3DS's firmware. On the fucking 3DS of all things. And Nintendo doesn't even know what the internet is yet. That shouldn't be what's happening, but it does. I mean, that was one of the driving points I made on this week's Jimquisition, where I've been saying this for a while about how consoles are just becoming shitty PCs. And the PS3 typifies that exactly. The more they tried to make it a computer, the more it became apparent that it's not a fucking computer, and thank the Christ baby Lord in heaven that Sony doesn't do that as an actual thing that they do.
What, computers?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, I think so.
They have the Vio line.
They got them... Oh,
thank fucking Christ the Lord baby in heaven that they don't make computers that I know of. That's a simple amendment. They keep their...
You know what? Here's the thing. The thing about Vios is actually, they're pretty impressive, but they're so freaking expensive.
That's why I don't know them.
They're building Hewlett-Packard machines and selling them at Apple prices.
Ugh.
They make them pretty like Apple, sort of. I mean, it's Sony's sort of, harder edges, black sleek look as opposed to Apple's curvy, smooth white. But you get the idea. It's the same principle. Yeah. It's high beauty on form factor. Still good hardware inside, but it's not Apple hardware, and they're trying to sell it for Apple prices. Yeah.
Well,
Sony.
yeah, I mean,
But
in
anyway.
any case, fuck the PS3's online.
That said, Dyad, I did get to play like, a few levels before we started recording, and it's really fun. It's weird. I'm gonna get. It takes some getting used to. Like, it's it's got that Tempest thing going, but it's
absolutely.
instead of if you imagine that Tempest isn't things coming towards you, but you moving towards things. And that is an important distinction because Tempest really is things moving towards you. But imagine you're not just going straight, but you're being propelled like a bullet through the barrel of a gun. That's what Dyad is, because it's rifling all the time. And there's a constant turning motion to everything while you're playing it. And so
for people who don't know, Tempest is people don't know what Tempest is. Isn't that weird, Conrad?
That is a weird thought. Yeah, Tempest is it's an old vector-based arcade game where you are shooting down a tunnel path that has many nodes on it that you can move from one to the next, and enemies move up towards you, like out of a pit, basically. It's a game of pushing back, keeping enemy forces at bay. Dyad is it's really amazing. There's still like once you start to get a feel for it, you can tell that there are clearly defined tracks, and everything is sort of running on a path, and you're hopping from one track to another, but they're so close and it's so delicate to hop between one to the next with the analogs. It can move so quickly if you really want to push yourself over to another edge. So there's some precision, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really cool game. I'm looking forward to diving much further into it. It's the sort of thing I could lose myself to an evening of just playing Dyad.
Definitely. Yeah, from what I don't know if you guys have ever played musical instrument. Have you ever played one of those, musical instrument?
Not well.
I blew on a tuba once.
I used to. I was in band in elementary school, which sounds ridiculous, and I did French horn and trumpet.
Well, if you've ever spent all night just playing chords on the electric guitar, or doing bass solos, Dyad's kind of like that. It's just kind of like playing the instrument all night. Because and as you play the game, the music is created based on what actions you perform in the game. So you do kind of create the soundtrack by playing. So now that I think about it, my metaphor is not so bad.
It's interesting. I wasn't that focused on the music at all. I really wasn't paying any attention whatsoever to it, other than the fact that
did you have it on?
There, I was aware there was music, but I wasn't really cognizant of my effect on it because these just felt like sound effects to me. And I probably just wasn't really listening for it. I was too busy trying to.
I don't think it was supposed to be too invasive. I think the music was supposed to kind of subtly affect what you're experiencing without being in your face, because your conscious mind is totally
because Red is very, very apparent about the effect of your actions on the music and the rhythm. It's really obvious in that. And maybe it's the speed of Dyad that sort of makes it a little hard to focus on that aspect of it right now. But I don't get the sense. You're right. It's definitely not as obvious.
I didn't think Res was all that demanding of your brain. It was more soothing a lot of the time, whereas Dyad's pretty difficult. It's a pretty hard game by design. So that's fun. Oh, I'm glad you're playing it. I look forward to playing it myself. And if people want to listen to the guy who made Dyad talk to me, we did an episode of Sup Poems with him a few weeks ago, which was good.
It was a good episode. He got progressively more drunk as the episode went on. It was quite entertaining.
And philosophical. He was talking about French, game fun philosophers, people who philosophize on the meaning of fun and all sorts of crazy jazz. He's a smart guy, that Sean McGrath. I like him. Yeah. You want to do questions? Let's do 3 questions, Jim. Let's do them.
Have you got any? Because I didn't.
I'll get some now.
All right, because whenever I get a sense we're going to be late, with recording, I don't want to put out questions because that drags us on another 10 years. I've got a Willem Dafoe movie pitch, a quick one, if you're interested.
Oh, I did want to point. He's got a birthday coming up.
Oh, we need to do a Willem special.
Willem and
He
I
could either
have the same birthday.
40 or
What?
900. I have no
This is
idea what
true.
age
Willem
he's gonna
Dafoe
be.
and I have the same birthday.
You are Willem Dafoe.
You are the
then.
blessed one.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I noticed that last week, and we were well past the Willem Dafoe conversation. I was like, I'll have to point that out. But yeah, I have the same birthday.
Excellent. You are now Conrad the Anointed.
What's your pitch, Jim?
Good for him. Oh, right, yeah.
Grr.
This came as a result of a conversation I was having about Willem Dafoe this weekend on Twitter with all the lovely Twitter followers, and we were coming up with different ideas for products for Willem Dafoe. I can't remember who came up with it. I really apologise for not noticing your name, but someone came up with Willem Dafoe airbags, which is just the best idea ever. Just his face printed on an airbag. And I added that it needs to be accompanied with a scream, so that if you crash, the first thing you see is Willem Dafoe's face expand in front of your eyes and just going, "Nah!"
Oh my god!
It would be worth crashing for that.
And really, I mean, that would just your instant reaction is to stop the acceleration of your body and flee from Willem Dafoe.
And there's nothing you can do.
It could serve a dual purpose. Give you that extra motivation that you need.
His face might be so scary that no one ever crashes.
Has an accident again.
Ever.
Yeah. It becomes mandatory in all vehicles.
Everyone's driving at 5 miles an hour, a cold sweat running down their face, just one false move, and it's coming for me. That would be awesome. But anyway, I talked about one product, which gave me the idea for this. The film is called Party Flower. Now, it stars...
What?
Party Flower. It stars Brendan Fraser.
Okay.
Who is looking... He's just got a new job, working in an advertising company. He's an artist, struggling artist. He's just moved to New York. He works for the Clamp company. It's a company called Clamp, and he designs sketches, designs new buildings, malls, that kind of thing, and adverts for products that Clamp sells. But he's got one thing that always causes him to have a creative block. He's got to have plant life, because that inspires him. He's just moved into this cubicle. He needs some sort of plant quick. So he runs out the building, finds an old mysterious Chinese shop, and says, well, they might have plants in there. So he goes in, and he sees a wise old Chinese man, played by Cheech Marin, who says, hey, man, I got some plants to sell you, man. I've got this flower.
That's a shockingly good Marin.
So long as I don't say too much. So long as I keep it short, sharp sentences. Plant gut, you have! That falls apart. And it's a flower. It's a little flower in a pot. It just stands straight up. Big yellow middle polleny bit. Big purple petals. Beautiful little flower. Brendan Fraser says that's perfect. Brendan Fraser's character is Adam Shoestring. So Adam Shoestring says, that's a great flower, I'll buy it, how much? He goes, hey man, for you, nothing. So he takes it and says, well, that was very kind. I wonder why he'd give away this excellent flower for nothing. He takes it back to the office, puts it on his desk. I just realised this wasn't as short a pitch as I thought it would be.
That's okay, it's kind of good.
Puts the flower down, starts working. Okay, just a normal day. Bosses come past, so that's some good art that you're doing, Adam Shoestring. And he says, yeah, thanks very much. So they go. Suddenly he hears this little noise, right? Just, hey. Looks around, sees nothing. Hey. He looks up suddenly and sees the flower is looking at him. The yellow polleny bit in the middle is now a yellow Willem Dafoe face. And it's just looking at him. Yeah, it's just like, it's a big flower and at the top of the flower is Willem Dafoe's yellow head with big purple petals coming around his head, just framing his face, and he's smiling, and he just goes, "Hey, Adam Shoestring, I'm dancing!" And he just starts jumping up and down from side to side, just shaking his little stem like booty hips. And it's just playing like some Mika or something. It's playing Mika's Love Today. And he's just going, love, love me, and love, love me. And he's just constantly going, I'm dancing, I'm dancing, I'm dancing, I'm dancing. Like that. And Brendan Fraser saying, shut up, shut up, shut up, I can't let the bosses see you. And he puts him in the drawer, and he's just like, oh, go in the drawer. Go in there. He shuts the drawer, and then you can just hear, I'm dancing, I'm dancing, I'm dancing. He just doesn't fucking stop. And then the film is Brendan Fraser like carrying this dancing little Willem Dafoe party flower. He gets it in, he takes it to work, he brings it to his home, he takes it back to work, takes it back home, constantly hiding it because he can't let anyone see it for some reasons. And he's hiding it from the bosses, he's hiding it from his girlfriend, he's hiding it from the vicar when he comes round to tea. And every time, like, you know, someone comes to visit or the boss walks past, he's just, I'm dancing, I'm dancing, I'm dancing. And they say, what was that? And then Adam Shoestring has to jump up out of his seat and start coming, I'm dancing, I'm dancing.
Why does Adam Shoestring have to? To cover it. Cover it up.
And then they're like, oh my god, I'm still got this cough. It's trying to force its way out because I'm so excited about this film. And then they look at him and says, Adam Shoestring, get back to work. And he says, okay. And that's basically the film. It's a little flower just dancing for an hour and a half. And he's getting into different... The party flower. And he's trying to get... Party. Yeah, and he's trying to, live a normal life while taking care of this flower that's constantly dancing.
Taking care of it? Why doesn't he just not have it?
Excuse me. Well, he takes it back to Cheech Marin, who says, I can't take that back, man. And then he says, well, I guess I got to look after it now. So he takes it back home and feeds it. He feeds it yogurt.
Oh, yuck.
And it's just
does he really like the yogurt?
It's dribbling out of Willem Dafoe's mouth. Just, I'm dancing! I'm dancing! It doesn't stop. And constantly, Mika, his fucking music's just blaring out. Constantly. From nowhere, from some unseen source. Possibly the flower itself. And that's my idea for the film.
It's a fine idea.
The party flower. Pollinating
I like it. I'd watch it.
cinemas near you.
Cinemas Wii U?
I liked that one. That was charming.
Oh, there's a nice, charming little kid.
Yeah, something. Yeah, you could take the family to that.
Family-friendly film. It's like Gremlins. That's why I said it was set in the Clamp building. It's in the same canonical universe as a spiritual prequel to Gremlins. So it's got that kind of, weird creatures with a normal guy trying to just do his best and make it ahead in the world. We could probably get the guy who played Clamp to reprise his role. He might eventually discover the flower and it becomes the next big thing. And everyone's happy, and it's just this happy dancing flower, and on the poster it could say something like, chlorophyll your enjoyment with laughter.
Sounds terrifying.
Put your petal to the metal.
Get your chlorophyll of fun.
Exactly. Perfect. Yes. Get your chlorophyll of fun, and don't leave the cinema early before you finish watching the film.
I ran out of Gremlins early at age 10 when it came out because I was terrified when those egg sacs were hatching. I can imagine it was scary. I have a feeling that, very harsh close-ups of Willem Dafoe's yellow laughing face will be a lot more kid-friendly, I think. I think kids want to see that. They want to see a yellow Willem Dafoe face with yogurt just spewing out of its mouth. And it's coming out like the milk coming out of Bishop's mouth in Aliens.
That's never going to inspire nightmares.
No, I think that's good.
No.
And I think at one point as well, like just a snake comes out of his mouth.
Of course.
Just in one scene.
You couldn't just have it be almost not.
He just goes, "I'm dancing now. Look what I can do!" And then and then the big snake comes out, and the snake has got Danny DeVito's face. And then that flies out of his mouth, and it just rotates. It like orbits Brendan Fraser's head for about 5 minutes, and just goes, "I'm the Danny DeVito snake. I'm gonna go jerk off in the corner," and that just goes away.
I was just thinking about how ridiculous masturbating is, and no one says masturbation is ridiculous better than Danny DeVito saying, "I'm going to go joik off in the corner." Yeah, I love when you do that. Yeah, it's good stuff.
I think it holds to the audience.
I think it does, like a lot of your ideas do.
It's very introspective, Jim.
It's deep. Yeah, so many people ask questions. I just asked, no warning. Just on my Twitter, random.
Sure.
So many questions. Weird that they are... These are people that never interact with me on Twitter, like the Eggplant, for instance, who asks, "Why has everybody got a harsh, everybody else is mellow?" I have no idea who the Eggplant is, but it turns out they were following me on Twitter and listen to the show and ask questions like that I can't answer. Can you answer that? Why has everybody got a harsh, everybody else is mellow?
I think it's got to do with how defensive people around the world, but especially in America lately, have gotten. People are very protective of themselves and their own. I think there's a lot of, especially in the wake of the economic disaster, where a lot of people put their trust in other people, and in many ways feel like they were punished for that. They've become very insular, withdrawn. They only care about themselves and their families on the internet, and even it's seeped into gaming. There's now this idea that if you're not with someone, you're against them. And the class warfare that we have now in Western civilization has mutated into it's sort of infested every facet of our day-to-day lives, like some sort of virus. It's just transferred from medium to medium. So now there's this warlike, hostile, very viciously threatening atmosphere everywhere you go. And a lot of people are choosing now to step away from that. But even if they try and avoid that, they still get dragged in. It's just this snowballing effect. And that's why I think you should take a shit in the popcorn.
I was going to say, wow, that's why everyone is harshing everyone else's mellow. But no, that's just why you want to make people eat my feces and pay for it.
There was an element of something that I actually do believe in that collection of sentences, I'm sure. But I do think on the internet and in gaming in particular, at the moment, it's gotten me down, to be honest. Just how...
Me too.
It's become very hostile and threatening. And you know me, I like a good argument. I've got nothing against a good flame war. But lately it's become it's a very personal, very black and white, extremist, with us or against us type of thing.
It feels very angry. Like, I mean...
Right. There's a defensiveness, like...
ground... I don't know. It just feels like there's a rage level that makes me uncomfortable with how responsive and defensive people are to things that we should be able to talk about with a certain measure of civility.
Things that I want us to talk... Like, I would love to talk about some of the things going on at the moment, be it gender issues or even something more simple like, say, Mass Effect or what have you. And, I'm not going to pretend that I've not been drawn into this kind of thing myself. I think most people have. Like, we've all gotten into an argument and a fight. But lately it's taken on an altogether more nasty edge, something altogether more venomous than it was before. And it depresses me, because games are a lot of fun. I love talking about them. I love debating them. Get a good-spirited debate that teeters on the verge of an argument but never quite gets there. That's my kind of thing. It's what I try and do in a lot of stuff I do, especially more now. I know in my more reckless years of writing, some of the things I said were a bit more, a bit harsher than I'd say them now. I've certainly, my buzz has mellowed a lot more in recent years, and I guess that's why I'm not so much enjoying this now. It's sad, it's a shame, and I think it gets in the way of good debate. I think a lot of the things coming up in the industry right now, we could have so much healthy stuff coming out of it, so much creative stuff coming out of it, but I see that obscured and held back until we can get over this anger, like this base animal anger that we've got. And I'm talking about all sides involved in every discussion lately. I'm not.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah. That's the thing, and there doesn't seem to be such a thing as a centrist position in anywhere anymore. And I mean, maybe at least in America, you know, we've got this sort of election thing going on, and it's going to get much, much worse for the next few months. And then maybe some of that will dissipate, but it's been growing for years, and to see it sort of reflecting online a little bit more, how hard it is to witness a discussion where there's actually a few people who are maintaining a very sort of middle of the road point of view, and how rare that's becoming. It's just scary.
It is. I mean, I always try and, politically especially, I'm a very centrist individual. I don't try and go too far right or left. And it saddens me that that's considered wishy-washy now. It's considered fence-sitting, whereas I consider it smart. Because I don't think going extreme in either direction and being unrelenting and unyielding in your viewpoint is healthy. I actually pride myself on the Jimquisition of being one of the few video series out there where I will say I got this wrong. I'm very proud. A lot of people now think that's a shameful thing, to change your mind, to have a different opinion. We see this with that Mitt Romney fella. Ashley Birch pointed out that, you know, it's not so great a crime for a man to change his mind, and it saddens me because we've got this very, you know, they say that, oh, there are these Middle Eastern extremist countries, and then I look at American television where you've either got to be a liberal or a Republican, you've got to be right wing or left wing, and anything else is wishy-washy, indecisive spinelessness. And I think we're really not that different from any other extremist country at the moment.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't like the two-party system anyway. I think it lumps people together that sometimes have nothing to do with each other at all. You can have a Republican who believes in no taxes, but freedom for people to do whatever they want in terms of, you know, and not strong on crime or whatever.
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah.
Right. Hi, how you doing?
He might be named Conrad Zimmerman. Then you can have another guy who's like, oh, well, I think we should tax people to fund our military. That's fine. And then we should put rules on everything. And they are also Republican, and they're nothing to do with each other. So, yeah, I'm not down with that. And I am down with...
to clarify, I would really like a complete reformation of tax code. I'm not saying no taxes. I'm just saying that the income tax system, it needs a drastic overhaul. Which could start with eliminating the current tax code and starting from a new, simplified...
All I know is I pay a greater percentage of my money than Mitt Romney, and I'm not even allowed to vote yet.
That's sad, but I laughed because it's sad because it's true, funny because it's true. Oh, sorry,
we're probably getting a bit too political. I know our listeners aren't
it feels
big
good.
fans. But the overall message is just let's be a bit more. Let's look at sides and not fucking go so far in one direction that we become immutable individuals. There's nothing worse than being immutable.
Yes, and don't pick fights with strangers for no reason.
And don't write laws the common man can't understand. Sorry, that's my thing. You know, like my problem with the tax code is that nobody understands how it works.
I've heard about it. It's written down somewhere, and it's controlling my money, probably.
Right.
That's all I know. And it seems good. Or not. It seems terrible. I mean, I don't know. Money, taxes.
It's to have created an economy of accountants.
Right. Yeah, indeed. I find that being not someone who gets mad at people has caused people to want to get in more arguments with me about things.
You think?
Like I've
Does
had
that
some
happen to
people.
you?
Yeah, does that happen to you guys too?
I don't know. I mean, I get as many people wanting arguments with me as they always do, but I'm engaging more in a just agree with anything anyone says to me on Twitter. That way I don't get in any trouble.
I wind up putting myself into more arguments than I have hoisted upon me. Like, I don't want to, like, I'm not like some piss and vinegar, I'm going to seek a fight or anything, but, like, I will respond to an inaccurate statement made by somebody.
Oh,
And
sure.
then
And you'll challenge
occasionally,
someone.
right,
You'll challenge me on a regular basis in a good way to see what I'm really thinking and push me to actually fully think out whatever I'm trying to say, so
but
I
yeah,
even know what I'm
people
saying.
don't
Yeah.
pick fights with me the way they seem to pick fights with you two gentlemen, which
I don't
is,
think they
I'm
want to mess with you, man.
fine
You're
with
tough.
that. I'm okay with that. Well, and I'm dismissive if I don't want to have an argument, so it could be fruitless. But
Yeah, that's one of my problems.
Yeah.
I'll engage people for a long time, and I'm just like, I'm not getting anything out of this conversation. You're just trying to pick apart my opinion, and I don't even know what yours is. Can you tell me what your opinion is? And then they won't tell me, and anyway, I don't mean to complain. Let's do 2 more questions, then
Let's
we'll
do
be
it.
done. Yeah. Whoa, they keep coming in. These questions. Whoa, there's so many. I can't even. I think there was a. Oh yeah. Kyle C wants to know what's our plan for PAX Prime. I haven't heard anything lately.
what is our plan for PAX Prime?
Do you know, Jim?
I did, and then the plans were changed on me, so now I don't. In fact, I've been. Yeah, I actually had shit planned out. I had everything in hand for once. Then things changed, and now I got nothing. The panel was approved officially today, just this afternoon.
Really?
So now comes the time when I scrap the Willem Dafoe pitch I was going to do, scrap the special song I was going to do with Jonathan Holmes. I had entertainment.
Oh.
I had things.
I can still do it. I mean, it would be an arm and a leg to fly out at this point, but I can still do it if they change the plan. Just so you know. Because the plan was going to be a Podtoid panel, and then it changed to something else.
That was the problem. I had a Podtoid thing planned, and then something was happening with Jonathan Holmes not attending, and I'm not doing Podtoid if that's what happens. So I have to come up with something else if that's not the thing. So it might just end up like another regular Destructoid Live. But the only problem is last time we did that, we made cake and hamburgers and carpet one new object rather than 3 separate entities. So I want to avoid that. So something's happening. I'm not entirely sure what yet.
Okay. Well, let me know, and I'll do a thing if that's a thing. But if not, that's cool too. I'm up for anything. I like stuff. I like all this stuff. One more question. Do you guys? Should be fun. A lot of them about Oya. Is that how you say it? Oyuya? Why did they call it that? There's not one actual solid consonant in that entire word. It's just
Ouya.
Ouya. That sounds better. Like booyah.
I'm gonna call it Ola, which is a fantastic reference some people will get.
I enjoyed it. This is a hard one. Let's try to do it quickly. Maybe you'll know it off the top of your head. Game Beast 23456 asks, "What is the worst critically received game you love?"
Game Beast.
And it's Game Beast. You know him. You've seen him around.
That's a great name, though. I want to be
a Game
Beast instead of
I was on a
ham beast that everyone calls me instead because fat.
I was on a podcast with him, and then it got erased. And then he wanted me to do another one, and I have not done it yet. Maybe that. No. So I know him personally, kind of. Do you know? It's tough for you, Jim, because you often determine how critically acclaimed the games you play are because you play them for review. And you too, Conrad, but Jim a little more often.
I don't know.
so-
I go against the grain so often. I don't know if I define anything. Not intentionally. People sometimes think I do, but if I had my way, everyone would agree with me, and then I would be emperor. It's not fun to be disagreed with, but
that is a bleak future.
that's a fucking beak future, which would be great if you were a bird.
Can you imagine? Think about how bored you would ultimately be if everybody agreed with you all the time. You would have nobody to rail against. You would have nobody to argue with. You'd have nobody to humiliate.
I don't
They'd
know
all
if
be
I've ever
you.
humiliated someone.
It'd just
Have
be
I
a
ever
sea of you.
I think that, wow, I almost came.
A sea of you.
A sea of me, just me swimming about in it, all sweaty and gross. Fantastic.
Oh god, now I'm just visualizing the is in the Max.
Oh,
But
yeah,
they're all
great.
Jim. Just this undulating wave of Jim.
Do you know the Max, Jim? The Sam Keith comic book from the 90s? It's pretty good.
No, that's.
It was a fantastic animated series they made on MTV. Out of the comics.
And that's why it got canceled. Because it was good.
It was really good.
Yeah.
You should track it down and watch it. You
I
will
will keep that in mind. The Max.
Yeah, the Max. The MAXX. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Looks just like the comic. The
I know
comic's
Mighty Max.
I remember
pretty
Mighty
different.
Max.
I had the Magma playset.
I did not. It looked too hot. Looked like it was lava.
I don't like toys that look like they might be hot.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah.
My brain's in trouble. I'm hanging in there though. I've done all right, on the show.
Yeah, you've done very well, sir.
Tough day at work
Yeah,
today.
so-
man. My problem. So game that
Question.
you love
Game that I love that
that is
everyone hates.
critically panned.
I absolutely
Mo-
know which one I'm going to pick.
Yeah.
Astonishia Story.
What is that? What is that?
Astonishia Story. I believe it's Korean. It's a strategy RPG. It came to the PSP, but it was originally, I think, maybe a PC game. It's so badly translated. It's
Okay.
very like Englishy. The humor, like it's a humorous game, but the humor is eldritch to the point like there's no real understanding it. Game developers just show up and stuff in this weird fantasy ye-olde world. Very weird game. Very bog standard. You know, you move your units up and down and move them next to things and hit them, and stuff levels up. Cool little soundtrack. Nice little retro-y graphics back before they were overused. Panned the shit out of by critics. Critics don't like it. I believe it got some incredibly terrible reviews on Metacritic and what have you, which surprised me because I played it. I had a lot of fun with it. Like, it was very standard, but it's a fun little PSP game. But yeah, I looked at the Metacritic once out of curiosity and was like, wow, I didn't realise this was supposed to be bad. I've been enjoying this. It's I assume it's not easy to find. I know it's not on PSN, which is a shame. I've got the physical copy somewhere. I think I let my stepson use it. But yeah, if you've got a PSP that plays the physical media still and you see it, it's not easy to find, but it's also, to my knowledge, not very expensive either. It's just no one wants it and no one's selling it. But I like it.
Good to know. Whoa. Dudes, I just checked Metacritic. I gave Dead Rising Chop Till You Drop the highest score on Metacritic.
Of course you did.
It's a good game, man. I love it. I'll still play it.
What do you give it? Like
Absolutely.
an 8?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
burned
good.
into my memory. I still remember
Yeah.
seeing it.
Have you played it?
No.
I thought not. See,
No,
that's
I
the
still
thing.
choose to judge you.
Everyone says it's bad, and then they play it, and they're like, "Yeah, it's kind of fun, actually. It's pretty damn
Kind
fun."
of fun, actually, is not an 8.
It's great. It's a great game.
It's all right. It's all right. I understand why you gave it an 8.
I love Resident Evil, and it is Resident Evil 4 in a mall with bad graphic zombies and the Mega Buster and a skateboard and a chainsaw. There's so many good things about that game. I can go on and on. The extra games you unlock after you play it, really fun. A really fun time playing those. It was a great game, and for the price too. It was $40 when it came out. People forget that. For a budget game, great deal. I love it. So that's probably got to be mine. That's probably my choice. Conrad, yours?
See, the problem with this question for me is that I don't really remember what anyone else thought of a game, after a certain point. Like, I mean, I could think of obvious examples like Deadly Premonition, where, yes, that was clearly a game that everyone was going to hate, but holds a special place in my heart because of how amazingly awesome it actually is.
And Jim liked it.
Jim liked it, yep. And I mean, it's so ambitious and it's so strange and so unrepentant in its strangeness, in a way. And it's even a fascinating kind of story.
Very fascinating.
So yeah, I mean, that's, I don't know, maybe that's the one. I know that most people didn't at least get onto it at first. And maybe some minds were changed over time, but I was always really kind of impressed that someone would be so daring and attempt to make such a living town in that way. It really just blows my mind.
Yeah, so much imagination in that game, I think. People look at it and they see that it's clearly not a game with a big budget, and they assume, then there was no passion involved. But it's quite the opposite, actually. It's all passion, for better or worse. They're really feeling it when they wrote that one, I think.
Yeah.
Jim fall asleep?
Hello.
Oh, you're there. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
You alright, are you? I think we're about ready. I think we're ready. Thank you for listening. Yeah, I think it was a good little show. Good little show.
That worked out.
Yeah, I tell you what though, people probably listened to this. They thought, well, that was fucking fantastic. These guys are ace potatoes. I want to read and see more of them. How? Jonathan, how can they fucking see more of you and your slungus?
Who, me? This Sunday, live streaming on, it's Podtoid.tv? Why do I never remember this, Conrad?
I don't know why, but that's absolutely right.
I got it right? I think I always think I'm going to forget it, and then I actually do know it. We're doing a show this Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, called Sup Holmes. It's a live stream talk show with video game developers, the people that actually make video games. You should pay attention to what they're saying. Don't you care? It's very important. These are the people making the things that you like. Anyway, this week we've got Diego Garcia, who created Super Flirt Off, my favorite video game about talking to other people. You know, people like the Conversation, Branching Trees, and Mass Effect, and blah, blah, blah. No. Super Flirt Off. Nailed it. It's fantastic. It's a free game. It's a Flash game. You can play it right now. It's one of my favorite games on the internet. And I think he's going to have his friend Emmett Butler on, because they work together to make a new iPhone game called Heads Up! Hot Dogs, where you just drop hot dogs on people's heads that walk by. And sometimes it's a cop who goes berserk and starts shooting at the hot dogs. And then a businessman, he doesn't vomit them, but 10 hot dogs just come out of his mouth really slowly. It's a good game. You should play it. They will be on our live stream show, which doubles as a podcast. We take the audio and put it on the iTunes store for podcasting afterwards. You can go download all the shows we've done. We've done 20 or 19? How many have we done, Conrad? Conrad's the engineer of the show.
That 20. Last one was episode 20, yeah, so.
Yeah, episode 20 should be up on iTunes right now. That was with Christine Love, the writer and designer of Analog, A Hate Story, which is a narrative-based game on Steam, which is very well written. And she was fun and funny, and she made me nervous, and I felt weird, but I was happy to talk with her. And hopefully the show turned out all right. So those are things, and I'll probably be doing the last Talking to Women about video games for season 2 this week too. So look for that on the Destructoid YouTube channel. That's my stuff. How about you, Conrad? Yeah, I did all right that time. Talking.
Well, also on the Dtoid.tv on Saturday morning, I'll be doing Saturday Morning Hangover with Jordan DeVore and the lovely Katrina, and we're going to be hanging out and playing video games. I think we're going to play a little more Bruce Willis's Apocalypse. Either that or Dyad. I haven't made up my mind yet. Dyad's really calling to me. It's just
people want to see it. That's a hot new game.
It is a hot game. I might have to play that. But other than that, yeah, definitely want to check out Sub Holmes, and I've got a few other things. I've got one thing I want to be excited and tell people, hey, we've got this story and you should go check it out. But now we can't run the story and they can't check it out.
Oh, okay. You'll have to tell me later what happened.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have a cool story in a few days. I don't know. But other than that, yeah, just check out the news Destructoid. Everybody's really been putting out some great content lately. So it's been a good site. We have a good site, I think.
Yeah, we have a good little website. Yeah,
not bad.
It's all right.
I would subscribe.
I would subscribe. Yeah, I would donate to a Kickstarter fund to run it without ads.
Wow, that would be funny if that happened.
Yeah. That actually sounded like we were going to do that. We're not going to do that.
We're not going to do that. No, yeah, actually, that silent pause, that pregnant pause was probably poorly applied.
Yeah, that was exciting. Just a gag about stuff. Yeah. Just a harmless guffaw.
Good for them. Good for them.
Yeah.
I hope it's very successful. I hope it demonstrates that it can be done, and it allows other organizations that are in positions similar to theirs, as if there were such a thing, to attempt such a bold move themselves.
I think it's incredibly silly, but if it works, fair play to them.
Who did what?
Penny Arcades are doing a Kickstarter for ads. That was the joke. I don't want to linger on it. We can't have another discussion. We're closing up, Jonathan. Okay. On Distracted.com, as Conrad said, we got stuff going up every day. I recently did a very, I think, largely well-received article called Aliens, Colonial Marines, and Upping the Female Ante, which is about female character models included in the multiplayer in Colonial Marines, which I think would be nice of them to do, considering Aliens is all about women, really. Otherwise, I've not got a lot planned this week for Destructoid. I'm not sure when this Heroes of Ruin review's going up, because I've got to play it. It'll be up when it's up, hopefully before release, which I think is next week, so look for it sometime this week or early next. Otherwise, my Jimquisition airs on escapistmagazine.com every Monday. This week's episode was called PS3 and Xbox 360 are just crappy PCs, which talks about how the various business practices of companies have put just as much bullshit on consoles as are on PCs, but without the benefits of PC to make up for it. It's an interesting video, drew a lot of discussion, a huge amount, so that's interesting to talk about. Otherwise, we will see you next week, us a lot, maybe with Hamza, maybe not. He's kind of taking a position as a semi-regular guest because of a lot of commitments that he has, so we'll have him every now and then, but we'll be here next week, as per the norm. You can get us on iTunes, RSS, whatever floats your boat. Give us some nice reviews on iTunes if you want. That helps. None of your comedy 1 stars, because even though that's a joke, I won't laugh. You can also get our app on Amazon. Don't get it anywhere else because it's fucked, and I don't know how to fix that shit. That's $2. You'll get it on your phone. It's a waste of money, I say every week. But we'd appreciate it because it helps with the hosting a bit. So that's more or less it. That is it. We'll see you next week.
Bye.